Hello and welcome to High Performance Imports V2 commentary. This video came out also in 2001, probably about 6 months after HPI V1. And about half of the video is drag racing, so I hope you like JDM Drag Racing. This first section is basically all of the two-wheel drive cars.
For the second High Performance Imports video, we take you to the Sendai Highland drag strip. The Sendai Highland track is about an hour inland from the city of Sendai, which is in the Tohoku prefecture north of Tokyo. They're not kidding when they call it the Highlands. We even spotted this Osaru monkey near the track.
Okay, this was my second trip to Sendai Highland. I actually took the train from Sendai to the nearest train station. And from my previous trip, I thought, it's not that far from the train station to the track, so I'll walk it. Unfortunately, I was wrong. It's probably about 5 kilometers. It took me ages to get there, and it's mostly uphill. I was a little bit concerned when I started seeing wildlife, because male monkeys are not known for being friendly, but luckily he took off.
This is the annual HKS All Japan drag meeting, so there are cars here from as far away as Hokkaido and Fukuoka. The pits are crowded with nothing but Japanese performance cars. Every car is turbocharged and most are running on street-legal tyres, though at this meet a few open-class cars also made an appearance.
I think that Celica had already been retired at the time, but that's just where it happened to be. It didn't run that day.
It really is awesome to see so many drag GTRs in one place. R32s are clearly a favourite.
Obviously, they were the cheapest one. In fact, back then you could pick up a half-decent R32 GTR for about 1 to 1.5 million yen, so 10 to 15 grand. Not the 100,000 plus that you pay now.
HKS turbos seem to be everywhere too. This is the new ball-bearing T51R SPL. Some racers even brought HKS fuel to the event.
I've actually used that fuel in the car here. I think it was very high octane, something like 115, 117. So basically you could use either a lot more ignition timing or more boost and just immediately make more power. And just generally it had a lot less chance of detonation, so it was easier on the motor. You did have to run it very rich though, which is why you'll see enormous clouds of unburnt fuel coming out the back of a lot of the cars.
The Street Fighter and Street Fighter Pro classes made up 95% of the entries at this event. There are 4 divisions, one for the popular Sylvia and 180SX, one for rotaries, one for GTRs, and an open class for everything else.
Once again, I put my little little Panasonic mini DV cam that I had, which I usually used as an in-car camera. I just put that on a little tripod halfway down the track and left it running in long play mode, so that I caught as many passes as I could. And it made quite a difference, I think, compared to just standing down the bottom end of the track.
We'll save the GTR division until last. Rotaries seem to have the most trouble getting off the line, often bogging down, but their top end speed usually makes up for this.
You can see the timing boards there. They actually display the terminal speed in kilometres per hour, which I've converted to miles per hour as a more of a standard in Western drag racing, including in Australia.
This white Supra was built by the HKS Tokyo workshop. It's running a T51R ball bearing turbo and the new HKS FCON V Pro engine computer system. Here's another T51R on a 2JZ Super engine, but this one's in an MZ20 Sora shell. The boxy old Sora isn't too pretty, but it's lighter than the Supra shell.
I think they only ever sold the Sora in Japan, and we got a few of them here as usually 25-year-old imports back then, or private imports. I was told by someone there that the Sora shell is a little bit lighter just because it doesn't have that big hatch with the glass in it and everything that goes with that. But they're a luxury car, so they had loads of luxury stuff that you could pull out if you're going to take them drag racing.
Not light enough to beat this T88 equipped RX-7 though. The yellow Silvia is running a smaller CA18 1.8 litre engine, but these two are a very close match. The race was actually won on reaction time, so the slower car still gets the win light.
Yeah, even then you didn't see many people running a CA. They were in the Silvia from 1988 till about the middle of 1990, I think, or the end of 1990. They're a good motor, but they didn't quite have the potential of the SR. They like to rev more, but they had very little bottom end torque. They're relatively short stroke, and I know from personal experience they have their limitations.
Another tough Supra. This one was built by Red Zone in Hokkaido. Hokkaido is the northern island of Japan, so they had to take a ferry to get to this meeting. This car's engine is a 3.1 with twin HKS 3240 turbos. Looks like the ferry trip was worthwhile. If you saw our first video, you'll recognise this RX-7 with its T88 34D turbo. On the better prepared Sendai track, it runs a couple of tenths quicker. This S14 Silvia uses a smaller KAI version of the T51R turbo on a stroked 2.2 litre SR20 engine.
From memory with the T51Rs, if you had the SPL, they were rated at up to 1,000 horsepower. The KAI, I think, was 750 or 800, so quite a lot smaller and therefore more suitable on a 2 litre.
It's up against the Red Zone Supra we saw earlier. Red Zone also brought this R32 Skyline GTST to the meet. The original RB20 engine has been stroked 2.4 litres with a modified TO4R turbo. despite this much cheaper setup, it actually beats the Supra's time. Apart from the GTRs, the only four-wheel drive cars you see in Street Fighter class are Mitsubishi Evolution Lancers, or as the Japanese call them, Land Evos. Both of these cars are running the same HKS 3240 turbo. Remember the HKS Kansai car from our last video? Here it runs its best ever time. MR2s are good for street drags as the mid-mounted engine pulls all the weight over the driving wheels. The 3S GTE also has a strong racing pedigree in both rally and GT cars. It must have been a crowded ferry. Here's another red zone car running a T88 34D turbo.
It's a really big turbo on a 2-litre. Actually, I just remembered I had 2 stationary cameras at this event. I had one mounted to a light pole, which is what we're looking at now. So it was just looking straight down the track. Just thought it might be a different perspective, although in the end I didn't use it all that much.
The fastest MR2s sometimes dip into the 9s. This garage active car has a 2.1 litre engine and a HKS T04R turbo. You don't see many AE86 drag cars, especially not ones with 2JZ Supra engines.
It was actually the second time I'd seen that CNY Sports 11. It was a really crazy thing. You might notice that not many cars in the drag racing there actually have an engine conversion. Most of them are running the original motor with loads of tuning. So yeah, people thought that car was a bit interesting.
This Supra uses a pair of HKS 3037 turbos with a neat air feed pipe from the headlight and fat flared guards. It still comes second to a plain-looking RX-7 from RE Wing. This blue Stillway Sylvia was probably the quietest car at the meet, but it was also the fastest Sylvia. Another car using twin HKS 3037S turbos, this time an FD Series RX-7. In Japan, it is customary for the whole team to help out with the burnout. They even tell the driver when to stop.
Definitely something I've only seen in Japan. I don't know how much difference it makes really for them to try and hold the car back. Really, it's the driver with his foot on the brake and the line lock that makes it happen, but they like to get involved, and they were allowed to back then.
The car in the far lane has a triple rotor 20B engine. It's quick, but it's not the fastest rotary at this event. The
Well, there you go, there's another rarity, actually running a 20B.
KSP Engineering FC RX7 uses twin 3037S turbos and a HKS 6-speed transmission.
I don't think anyone expected their tyres to last more than one race speeding in those days. Okay, that was sort of the street class part of the video, and in the next section we'll get into the GTR and Pro class. See you then.